Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a report from Virtualization Options LLC. They're a Colorado-based tech research and advisory firm, and their work zeroes in on a really critical question for any executive. How do you take one of your biggest cost centers, the IT data center, and turn it into a strategic powerhouse for your business? All right, let's get into it. So let's just start with the question that's probably on every leader's mind. When you look at your budget, does that line item for the data center just feel like a financial black hole? Like money's just getting poured in? It's a really common feeling, believe me. But it doesn't have to be a reality. The trick is to stop thinking of it as just a technical expense.
I mean, what is a data center, really? It's the engine room for your entire business. It's the critical infrastructure that powers every single thing you do digitally, from internal emails all the way to your customer-facing website. It's not a liability. It's the absolute backbone of your ability to compete.
Now, to get control, you first have to understand the problem. So in this first section, let's break down exactly why those data center costs can feel like they have a life of their own. According to the research, the costs pretty much boil down to three main things. First, just the sheer amount of energy these places gobble up. Second, that constant and expensive cycle of hardware upgrades. And third, the major costs of staffing and keeping everything running. Let's take a quick look at each one. So think about your data center's power bill. You probably assume most of that money goes to actually powering the servers, right? Well, the research shows something pretty staggering. For a lot of companies, 40% of that bill is just for cooling the equipment down. That's a massive overhead cost, all from inefficient air conditioning, basically. Then you've got the human side of things. Staffing your data center with skilled people, we're talking their salaries, benefits, ongoing training, that can eat up as much as 20% of your entire data center budget. It's a huge, though necessary, operational cost. And here's the real kicker. Even if you don't change a single thing inside your company, there's an external pressure you just can't ignore. Utility rates are climbing. In some parts of the country, they're seeing annual increases of 10%. So doing nothing actually means your costs are guaranteed to go up. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Your costs aren't just high, they're actively getting worse. It's kind of a perfect storm of your own internal inefficiencies slamming into these external market forces. And that's something that demands strategic, executive-level attention right now. So how do you actually fight back? In Section 2, we're going to open up the toolkit and look at the strategies you can use to start getting these costs back under control. The first tool is one of the most powerful out there, virtualization. In simple terms, it just means doing more with less. By running multiple virtual servers on a single physical machine, you can dramatically cut down your hardware footprint. And hey, fewer machines means less heat, which is a direct shot at that huge 40% cooling cost we just talked about. Plus, you get way more out of the hardware you already paid for and can scale up or down in an instant. This leads right into smarter hardware management. Stop waiting for old, power-hungry equipment to fail. A proactive refresh cycle means you're replacing it before it becomes a drain on your budget. And by right-sizing your infrastructure to what your business actually needs today, not what you thought you'd need 3 years ago, you don't just cut costs, you actually boost performance for everybody. Now, this brings up an even bigger strategic question. Should you even be running your own data center at all? The alternative is something called a co-location facility. Think of it like this. Building your own data center is like building a factory. It's a huge upfront cost, and you're on the hook for all the maintenance. Co-location, on the other hand, is like leasing a flexible space in a modern industrial park. You get a pay-as-you-go model, someone else handles the upkeep, and you can grab more space whenever you need it. Okay, so once you've got those fundamentals down, you can move on to the more advanced plays. Now, these are the strategies that don't just control costs. They're the ones that create a real, lasting competitive advantage. Looking ahead is absolutely critical. According to the report, data center needs can grow by a pretty shocking 30% in a single year. If you're not forecasting your capacity needs at least 6 months out, you're going to be constantly reacting, and that leads to rushed, very expensive decisions. Proactive planning is totally non-negotiable. So what's a concrete target you can actually aim for? Well, the research is crystal clear. Your goal should be a server utilization rate of 80% or higher. Anything less than that, well, it just means you have idle, expensive hardware sitting around doing nothing. It's wasted capacity and a terrible return on your investment. This is a key metric for success. To hit that optimal utilization, a lot of leaders are now using a hybrid cloud strategy. This gives you the best of both worlds. You can keep your most sensitive assets, like your customers' financial data, on your own private, secure servers. But for the less sensitive, high-demand stuff, like your public website during a huge product launch, you can tap into the nearly infinite on-demand power of the public cloud. It's really about putting the right job in the right place for the best security and efficiency. And finally, there's the force multiplier, automation. By bringing in automation and orchestration tools, you streamline your operations, you reduce human error, and you can automatically send resources where they're needed most. This frees up your highly skilled and expensive staff to focus on strategic work instead of just doing mundane tasks. So, let's bring all this together. The path to an efficient data center isn't just about the technology you buy. It's about a fundamental shift in your mindset.
The Virtualization Options LLC report really hits the nail on the head with this quote. It's all about this idea that cost control isn't a project that you just finish one day. It has to become a culture of continuous improvement, where your team is always looking at performance and hunting for that next opportunity to make things better.
And that really brings us to the ultimate goal here. This entire journey is about evolving your data center from what might feel like a necessary and often painful cost center into a lean, efficient, and sustainable foundation that actually enables and speeds up your business's growth. So we'll end right where we began, but hopefully with a brand new perspective. After seeing these strategies, the question isn't just about cost anymore. It's about opportunity. Is your data center a liability that's holding you back? Or is it waiting to be unlocked as your next great strategic advantage? The choice really is yours.